Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is alerting the public to an increased risk of COVID variants of concern in Lloydminster and area. They're reminding people to strictly follow all current public health orders and measures. These variants are highly contagious and transmit quickly within the community. If you are able to work from home, the SHA encourages you to do so. 2 more people who tested positive for COVID-19 in Saskatchewan have died. One was in the 70 to 79 age group in the Southeast Zone, and one was in the 80-plus age group from the Saskatoon Zone. There are 205 new cases in Saskatchewan, with 3 in the Northwest. 2 of those are in the immediate Lloydminster area. 2,141 cases are active province-wide, with 76 in our zone. 52 of them are in the immediate Lloydminster area. 206 people are in hospital, with 9 in the Northwest. Close to 245,000 vaccine doses have been administered in Saskatchewan. More than 17,000 of those are in the Northwest. Lloydminster city maintenance crews are shifting from winter to spring, putting away the plows and bringing out the street sweepers. Eric Bay has more on the winter and what is ahead for the city.
It was a unique winter for snow removal crews in Lloydminster. Heavy snow in the fall, paired with warm temperatures, led to a citywide snow removal in November instead of the usual January start date.
We budget the year, we don't budget the winter season. So we'll budget for the 2020 year and the 2021 year. So we did do 2 snow removals in 2020 actually, because like you said before, a lot of times the snow removals aren't until January, February.
Now crews are beginning to deal with another problem created by winter in potholes. Temporary pothole patching is already happening in the city before spray patching begins in a couple of weeks, depending on weather.
Once our asphalt teams start up, the businesses in Lloydminster, and they're making asphalt, then we get into the permanent patching program. So we will have our patching program, once it starts, is a patching program for utility digs, water sewer digs, and then deteriorating pavement.
Street sweepers hit the roads on Wednesday, beginning with Highway 16 as crews wait for ditches to dry.
Once they start drying up, and the same with some of the boulevards in the residential, we're hoping to get into a full residential program. We're hoping within 2 weeks, but it's all pending weather. I noticed next week we have some cool evenings again, and if you get that moisture and it's freezing all the time, it makes it difficult for sweeping some of the boulevards.
Notices will be placed on streets when the residential street sweeping program begins. Residents are being asked to slow down near active machinery and to avoid parking when sweeping takes place. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
The government of Alberta announced Tuesday that they will be going back to step 1 of their COVID-19 restrictions. One of those restrictions are that restaurants will have to close their indoor dining and only offer takeout, curbside delivery, and patio dining. The new regulations for restaurants come into effect on Friday at noon, and we spoke with the Wainwright restaurant for their reaction.
I'm joined now with Alex Heath, and he is the owner of the Honey Pot Eatery and Pub in Wainwright. Now, with the new restrictions that were announced, what was kind of your initial reaction to this?
I don't think any of us were really surprised. It didn't come as a shock. And we were immediately able to turn around and basically go back to what we were doing prior to the opening in February.
And how big of an effect will this have on your business?
Obviously, we have to lay off staff. We obviously have to reduce inventory in our business. We are keeping on all of our staff right now with regards to working in the kitchen and the frontline staff that will be doing the takeout orders and dealing with the general public.
And has it been frustrating for you having to deal with the ever-changing restrictions and having to open and close your business?
It is unbelievably frustrating. We keep having to come up with a new way of doing business. Like, we've come up with a new way of doing business, I think 3 or 4 times since, when did we open last year? Back in May? No, it was April last year, wasn't it, when we all opened again? So yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very hard. It's hard on staff, but at the same time, we're in the hospitality industry, so looking after people is what we do, and we'll keep going.
Even though you have had to close and reopen, but you've still offered other options, how's the community support been from residents?
we have the most amazing, loyal guests. They are incredible. They really are. There are days it just shocks me how many orders we've got. One of the things we did, and this happened 3 years ago, we decided to go to an online ordering app. And that online ordering app has been fantastic during this. Like, so many people have embraced it. It's nice and easy. You can get it on the App Store at the Honey Pot Eatery and Pub. And it's just been a lifesaver. It really has.
And how will you now be operating with these new restrictions?
Our business will look like it looked back in February before we all opened. We had got used to doing business that way over that period of time. We closed over the Christmas holidays, partially because of COVID and partially because we were closing anyway to give our staff a break. But when we came back at the beginning of January, basically that's what we're going back to, full bore takeout, full bore curbside. And I guess we have the option of the patio, providing the weather here cooperates, which doesn't look like today. We are thinking about opening up our parking lot and turning that into patio. Obviously, everything is dependent on the weather, and April is a pretty changeable. Obviously, the climate here in March, April is pretty changeable. So we'll have to see how it goes. We really will. But I mean, we're positive. We'll keep doing what we do, and hopefully we get the community support. Well, I don't actually need to say that. I know we'll get the community support. We've been here for 43 years now, so we're not going anywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Alex.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Now our Connor Chan will take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Cloud coverage, as we did talk about yesterday, continues on right now with that high of 5 degrees. We did see little bits of sun around that 3:30, 4 o'clock range, but for the most part of the day, it has been very cloudy. Winds picking up almost at 30 kilometers per hour coming in from the northwest north, making it feel a little bit more like 1 degree. We could see some temperatures continuing to be in the singles a little bit throughout the most of the 7 days here. But as we take a look at some other temperatures right now in our area, 6 degrees in Vermilion as well as in Vegreville, 5 for St. Paul, Bonnyville, and Cold Lake, 4 for Lac La Biche and Pierceland. Looking over to Saskatchewan, we also see 5s and 4s, 5 in Maidstone with 4 in North Battleford and 3 degrees in both Provost and in Macklin. Let's take a look here at the satellite radar map right now. Lots of rain activity. I did mention yesterday that North Battleford, we're going to see some showers, and that has been the case today, as we will see some rain making its way out east, going towards Saskatoon by around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight. Even some snow making its way into areas like Prince Albert and other parts in that central Saskatchewan areas as well. And of course, we could be seeing some rain ourselves heading into Saturday. But for the most part right now, it is mostly in the North Battleford area, and it is going to move out east. And we also could see that system in Edmonton, as well as there's another system that's not far behind. That's the one we could possibly see on Saturday there. But as we take a look at some other in-depth look to North Battleford, -5 overnight with mostly clear skies for the most part, going to 11 degrees tomorrow for the daytime high, with some sun and clouds throughout the day. Going into Cold Lake, currently at the cloud coverage as well, at -6 degrees will be the temperature overnight, going into 12 degrees tomorrow with, again, that sun and cloud mix. -7 for us here in Lloydminster overnight as we drop down to that, with clear skies, going into 12 tomorrow as our daytime high as we get ready for the weekend here. And of course, it will looks like the rain will continue on into Saturday with that high of 9 degrees and a low of -2. It's also going to be very cooler in the morning tomorrow with that low of -7. And then as we get into Sunday, daytime high will be there of 4 degrees and a low of -5. And the wind chill could be more feeling like -10. That's a first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Lloydminster's Girl Guides are gearing up to sell some cookies this weekend, and our Tate Lake Craft has the details.
Joining me today from Lloydminster's Girl Guides is one of their group leaders, Carly Ash. Thanks so much for joining me today, Carly.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to.
So to open things up on a general note, how are Girl Guide activities looking right now? How are you guys operating or meeting as a group?
So we've had to pivot a couple times this year. Primarily right now we're doing online. Right now we are able to meet outdoors in groups of less than 10, which is great, but many of our units have more than 10 people in them. So obviously most of our activities are still running online, but I think from my perspective, that pivot to online has actually really given us a lot of opportunities to seek out programming that might not have been accessible when we're meeting in person. So we've had opportunities to have guest speakers in over Zoom and Google Teams, or we've had opportunities to do programming with things like the Royal Tyrrell Museum. So I think in some ways it's been really good. And then in the fall, we were actually outdoors for about 3 months in the fall, which was amazing because, again, we had that opportunity to really focus a lot more on the camping and the outdoor aspect of things that sometimes it's not as easy to do when you're primarily indoors, or it's less top of mind. So I think in some ways it's been challenging, obviously, to pivot, especially when it comes to things like making sure that program supplies are available and arranging curbside drop-offs and stuff like that. But in the end, we've been able to continue offering engaging girl-driven programming, and I think it's more than ever really important right now because it's allowed us to continue giving our participants that feeling of normalcy and that feeling of connection when so much is sort of changing day to day.
Well, it's nice that you guys are able to find some positives and you're using the COVID pandemic to explore some different avenues. But you guys are selling some cookies coming up this weekend. Could you just tell me a little bit about that?
We are. So cookie sales are obviously one of the things that's really had to pivot a lot in the past year. It's harder to do door-to-door sales. So what we're doing this year is we've actually decided to innovate a little bit. So we're going to be offering a cookie drive-through in Lloydminster. So it's going to be a really exciting way for people to get their cookies in sort of a safe, socially distanced manner. And it's also going to be an excellent opportunity for our girls, our participants, to work on some of those cookie selling skills that are so important in Girl Guides. So they get a chance to really hone in and develop their public facing skills and that type of thing, which has been a bit harder to do with COVID. So we're going to be at the Lloydminster Guide and Scout Hall, which is 3707 49th Ave. The cookie drive-through will be happening in the alley with entrance through the west end of the alley. There will be signs and traffic directing and lots of happy guides and guiders out, and it'll be running from 12 until 4, both on Saturday and Sunday. And it'll be all of our, I think what's really excited about it for me is all of our branches are participating. So we're going to have Sparks, who are as young as 5, up to Rangers who are as old as 17, participating in this event and selling cookies, which is a huge, obviously we're excited because it's a chance to get together again. But we're also excited because it's a chance for us to really show the community of Lloydminster that Girl Guides is still running and we're still out there and we're still offering this excellent programming for our youth.
And before we say goodbye, for anyone who might want to learn more about the Lloydminster Girl Guides, is there somewhere they can go online to do so?
Yeah, so of course you can always Google Girl Guides of Canada. We're right there. But there is also a Lloydminster Girl Guides page on Facebook. If you just search Girl Guides Lloydminster, it'll come up for you there.
Thanks so much for doing this, Carly.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
Today, Augusta National played host to the 85th Masters Tournament. As the 88-player field searches for the coveted green jacket, Evan Kenny looks ahead at the weekend of competition.
Well, just 5 months after winning his first green jacket, Dustin Johnson is back at Augusta with the rest of the field, looking to retain that title of champion. Joining me today to break down everything that comes through the Masters is Marty Wheaton from Wheaton Golf Services, as well from the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Club. Marty, thanks for taking this time.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
Now, Marty, for me, this is one of the most exciting tournaments when it comes to the PGA, and probably my favorite. And like I said, just a 5-month gap between tournaments this year rather than that 12 months like we're used to. Marty, what do you think the differences will be when it comes to the course? Obviously playing back in April versus, what we just saw in November there.
Yeah, I think definitely the players are going to face some tighter target and landing areas with it playing firm and fast. You can't take anything away from Dustin Johnson last year, but it was a scoring record due to the soft conditions that Augusta doesn't normally have. So we've seen a little bit lower scoring last year. I think we're going to have not as low scores this year. Obviously, it's always hard to tell with how good the players are. But definitely those target and landing areas are going to be a lot smaller this year than they were in November.
Yeah, Dustin Johnson, minus 20 or rather 20 under back in November there. And as well at Augusta right now, the past couple weeks have been very dry, just making it, that much tougher and that much faster for these players. Now, Marty, when it comes to the history of this tournament, this is one of my favorites, co-founded by Bobby Jones, who, no doubt is the best amateur golfer of all time. And amateurs are a big thing when it comes to this tournament. 3 of them playing in this one this year, which ties a record low. But I mean, Marty, just how big of an opportunity is this for these 3 amateurs?
Well, it's a gigantic opportunity, and I think Augusta National, has a history there that they're trying to get over. They're trying to create new culture, so they're bringing more amateurs into the game with, the drive, chip, and putt, with the amateur championship for the women. They are trying their best to start these new cultures and get more amateurs into the game, and I think they're going in the right direction.
And I mean, over this past season, golfers everywhere, this just seemed to multiply, and lots of new players getting into this game, just continuing on with that theme. Marty, speaking about history and, obviously one of the most famous golf courses in the world at Augusta. And it seems like each hole really tells a different story. And, adding on to that, it seems like we can get a different story each year from each hole. Now, is there one particular hole that you're excited to watch this weekend?
I think number 12 had a lot of drama and recent, but there's so many holes out there that can get you. That Amen's Corner stretch is where we always see the turn of the tide. So that's what I'll be looking at, is those number of holes that turn to make and start trying to make some birdies and hang on back 9 come Sunday.
Yeah, Marty, number 12 is as well for me. What first jumped out, especially Rays Creek just in front of that green there, can make it for huge troubles for, like we've seen, the best of the best golfers. Jordan Spieth put up a 7 there the year after he won the green jacket. And, just in November, Tiger Woods also struggled with that hole there, which, I mean, seeing Tiger struggle on a hole is something that, over his career, we didn't see too often. Finally, wrapping things up here, Marty, do you have a pick at who you think will win this year's green jacket?
I'm going to pick the hot hand in Jordan Spieth. He has dominated this golf course in the past, and I know there's a little bit of scar tissue from maybe throwing away the tournament, but if he's starting to get back on his game, when that guy gets the putter going, there's nobody better.
Yeah, for sure. His short game is, out of this world. And while, obviously credit due where it is earned there for Spieth, I am not taking Spieth. I'm going to take Jon Rahm just for, his past at Augusta. He has 3 top 10 finishes in his last 3 times at Augusta there. And as well, he has that nice mix of the long bomb, but can also finesse some shots in tight. Marty, this should be an exciting weekend to watch. Thank you very much for taking this time and joining me.
Looking forward to it.
Now our Connor Chan will take another look at your weather forecast.
Thanks very much, Jasmine. Now taking a look here, still sitting around the 5-degree mark, and we are going to see that cloud coverage kind of continuing on for the next little bit here, as we are going to see some clear skies overnight tonight. But it's mostly out east that's seeing a lot of activity like showers and even some snow in some areas in central Saskatchewan. As we take a look at some other temperatures as we make our way west, 5 degrees we see in Edson, Rocky Mountain House, and Red Deer, and then lots of 4s in Jasper, Whitecourt, and Athabasca. 5 degrees also for Cold Lake. A little bit warmer in some parts here in Saskatchewan as we look at Prince Albert at 10 degrees and 15 for Melfort. Prince Albert, one of those cities that are seeing some rain snow mix activity right now. As I mentioned, it is mostly in the central Saskatchewan areas that are going to see good amounts of rain and even some snow in some parts up in the north, a little bit in the northern parts from the central area. So 5 degrees in Meadow Lake right now as well, and then 9 in Saskatoon. Taking a look up to those northern temperatures, 0 degrees in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, so still fairly cool for the most part. We see 3 degrees in La Ronge. Still some minuses up in the farther north areas in Uranium City at -5 and -3 in Stony Rapids, with 11 in Flin Flon on that Saskatchewan-Manitoba border. Now looking to northern Alberta, lots of minus temperatures to talk about today. We see -1s for Fort McMurray, Slave Lake, and Peace River, -4 in High Level, and also -6 for Fort Chipeway. 2 degrees also we see in Grand Prairie. Now looking up to the southern areas right now in Alberta, not as warm as it was yesterday. They've cooled down quite a bit from their double digits that we saw yesterday. So 4 degrees we see in Calgary and Lethbridge right now, 5 degrees in Medicine Hat, and -1 for Banff. We also see 5 in Coronation right now. Now as we take a look to southern Saskatchewan, we see 5s as well in Swift Current, 1 degree in Kindersley. Then we make our way further down that highway there. We see lots of double-digit temperatures in Moose Jaw and Regina, sitting at 14 and 15 degrees, 19 for Yorkton, and then 20 degrees we see there in Estevan. Now taking a look here to the national temperatures, 6 degrees in Winnipeg. They've cooled off. A little bit warmer in Toronto today at 20 degrees with mostly sun throughout the day there. 12 degrees in Quebec City, 2 degrees in St. John's with some showers, and then 12 in Halifax right now. 9 degrees for Vancouver, -11 up in Yellowknife with clear skies today, and then -4 up in Whitehorse. Now looking to temperatures for tomorrow, we are going to warm up a little bit more. We are going to see a little bit more sun than what we saw today, but that's not going to last, as we are going to see some showers on Saturday, and we could see that also in Edmonton as well. As I mentioned, that system is making its way into that area around that 8 o'clock range tonight. But looking at tomorrow, 12 degrees is the expected daytime high for the immediate area, including Marwayne, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Pearceland, just to name a few here. Now here's a look at the next 7 days. 62% chance of some showers there with a high of 9 degrees. We are going to see a lot cooler mornings over the next little bit here. So 4 degrees on Sunday as we clear up a little bit more, and then we get a little bit more clearer on Monday with that high of 6 degrees. 9 on Tuesday with a low of -8 there, which will be one of the colder mornings we see throughout the week here. 10 degrees on Wednesday, and then we clear up on Thursday with that high of 12 degrees. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Joining us once again on Primetime Local News is Brandy Hofer, and we're talking today about your new project that you have going on with Acton's Lower Shannon Farms to celebrate Mother's Day. So talk about the project and the collaboration with them for this project.
Well, I have all these great ideas all the time, and I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we could do this and that? And then they said yes. So I wanted to do a Mother's Day box and have like a really sweet handmade, like ready to hang art print. And so I created one specifically for this project. And of course, yeah, they said yes, and it all came together, and I love their products. We're so lucky as a community to have Acton's Lower Shannon Farms, because it's fresh, it's delicious, it's handmade, and it's so special. And I've been a longtime supporter, and they also, like, I think let's see, they have a lot of art in their home that is mine, actually. So it's like over the years a natural thing that just, when you work together, you can make really cool things happen. So I'm really proud of this specific project because we called it, actually, I tend to jump around with my speak, but we called it the Handcrafted Mama Box. And it's full of handcrafted items, of course, our ready to hang print, and like vanilla raspberry jam, and like beautiful the all female makers, all moms too. So it's just like one of those made with love kind of projects. It's so special and I'm so excited about it. And even we had the box and we were doing a photo shoot the other day and we were eating the jam out of the jar. It was so cute. But like everything in it is so, it's wonderful. It's a perfect gift for your sister, your grandma, your mom. Yeah, any special woman in your life will appreciate it.
You mentioned how this project is staying local. Was that the focus when you were partnering with Acton's Lower Shannon Farms in the creation of these boxes? And also was the idea of celebrating moms in the community another focal point for this as well?
I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support of our community. Like Lloydminster and surrounding area they have made my art practice possible. I always have custom artwork orders, and everyone is, if you work together, you can just do amazing things. And if we keep supporting local and if we keep working together, and we have so much talent to draw from, it's not only do you want to just work local, but like we have amazing people here who do amazing things. You just have to be open to it. And in light of that, I just wanted to move forward and I don't know, I wanted to move forward and grow our business this year. And we made some really big plans, and I want to do it with the support of my community and with local makers. And Lower Shannon Farms is a female run business, and Kelsey is like the head of it all. She's there like putting in so many hours all day. She works so hard, and her team works super hard there. And I know that. And if I would do anything to support them, and they obviously feel the same about me. So I'm super honored and grateful. And even like launching the project, we had Kim from Nara Studios. He shot our promo video, and Taylor Olivia Photography, she does all our photos, and that's all local people. And it looks beautiful, and we hope it does well. And yeah, I love it.
Now, if people want to order a box for themselves, how do they do so?
So we only have so many of these boxes because, of course, they're all handmade, handcrafted, and we don't have like a million things. So there's limited quantities available, and the pre-order launches Friday, April 9th at like 6 a.m. and you can do it there. And the thing about the pre-order, we put that in because a lot of people need shipping. So we just want to get that all ready so everyone gets their handcrafted mama box on time for their loved ones. The box is $165, and you can get it right from brandyhofer.ca, and that'll just take you straight to the Acton's Lower Shannon Farms page where you can click and buy it.
Well, Brandy, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us today. brandyhofer.ca is the place to go if you want to order yours, and order quick because quantities are limited. Brandy, thanks so much for joining us.
I'm joined today here on Primetime Local News with Randy Noble-Smith. She is from Discover Lloydminster, and Discover Lloydminster has their new 2021 guide out now. And these guides are pretty familiar to a lot of residents, but for those people who don't know about them, Randy, first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about the guide?
We're just a local guide to highlight all the local businesses and activities that you can do when you're in Lloydminster, whether you live here or if you're just passing through. It's an all-in-one stop shop.
And this year there's an online component to this as well, where people can kind of go on and there's an interactive part. Can you kind of just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we've added an interactive guide. So normally you can go on and grab our guide and download it in a PDF format. This year we've been working on getting it to be interactive, where essentially you can open up the guide online just as this, and you can click on an ad and it'll take you right to that advertiser's website. which will give them more traffic and hopefully help push up their, retail numbers. Or, it's not only necessarily retail, like there's in our Living in Lloyd section, I mean, you can find engineers, you can find whatever you're looking for. We kind of cover everything. As well as in our listings, there's bolded listings that our sponsors obviously have bolded ones, and you can click on those and that'll link you right through to their website as well.
And I know Discover Lloydminster also has a part on your website called What's Open that's really kind of showcasing what's open when, restrictions are changing and sometimes things are forced to close and others are reopening.
Yeah, so we started that right when the pandemic first happened. This whole talk about going into a lockdown was really scary for a lot of local businesses. And we are a local business as well, so we were feeling it too. So we just thought we needed to help out any way that we could. So we created this What's Open page on our website, and we just invited everyone in the area. And you don't have to be in Lloydminster only. We serve the surrounding area. So you can have businesses from Wainwright, Vermilion. We're hoping everyone in Lloydminster's entered their information. It's a free service, and they can just update their current offerings and their current hours. And as restrictions change, we just want to be able to keep everybody up to date.
And Discover Lloydminster has been making this annual guide for quite a long time now. And can you just talk a bit about how valuable it is to residents here in Lloydminster and also people who may pass through and visit?
Yeah, we find it incredibly valuable. It allows locals and the travelers coming through to explore all of everything that we have to do. Like, it's not just a pass through town. There's rich experiences in Lloydminster that you can have. There's beautiful artwork all downtown. There's, when restrictions lift again, we can get some entertainment back happening. There's just lots. There's hidden gems everywhere. Lots of great local restaurants, great local boutiques. It's easy to see many of the great ones right along the highway as you're traveling through, but we kind of hope people stop in and walk around, park your car, go grab some sweets from Hey Sugar Bake Shop, maybe walk around downtown, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so we talked a little bit about the interactive portion on the website, but for people who want to pick up a physical guide, where are they able to do so?
Okay, so one of our sponsors is fabulous. They're all fabulous sponsors, of course, but we have a rack in Home Hardware that they've supplied for us. So as you're exiting Home Hardware, on your left-hand side, you'll see a rack that's full of Discover Lloydminster and other handouts and brochures that they have, but that's where you'll see us. We are now in Sobeys. So as you leave Sobeys, where all the newspapers are on the right-hand side, you can pick up a copy there. We have some in the office downtown at Red Bicycle Communications as well.
Do you have anything else to add that we didn't get to touch on yet?
Well, we're always looking for photographers. We have such a great community. This guide isn't created just by a small team of us. It is, so many people have their hands on it, from writing, the photography, of course. We ask that local photographers, if they have any beautiful pictures of our area, just to use the Discover Lloydminster hashtag, and then we could maybe feature them on our social media. And if they're a picture that we just can't get out of our mind, like we saw this picture last fall and we thought, wow, that's a cover photo, right? So we just ask that the local photographers get involved, and if they'd like, they can actually message me at hello@discoverlloydminster.ca, and I'll add them to our mailing list and we can get them the shot list and that. There's several updates though on the website. I kind of want to get people to head to the website and check it out. We have an interactive map. So when you, I have smaller children, I had smaller children, they're teenagers now. I just remember this time of year and they were going a little stir crazy, and I'd be out at the park with them, and it was like, go explore every single park in Lloydminster kind of days where you needed to really tire them out. So moms and dads can jump on their cell phone, hit the interactive map, click the park they want to go to, and if they're unfamiliar, it'll lead you right there. We Google Maps kind of thing. We have a kids activity page on the website now. If you want to do some coloring, anything to keep the kids entertained. I think that's what it's all about right now.
Yeah, definitely. And Randy, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today. It was great to highlight this resource that's good for visitors, but also it helps local residents explore and discover parts of Lloydminster they might not have known about.
Thanks, Jace. I appreciate you reaching out.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. We're going to have some warm temperatures tomorrow compared to what we saw today at 12 degrees. We are going to see rain on Saturday with that 62% chance of some of the showers. 4 degrees on Sunday, 6 on Monday as we are clearing up a little bit more as we get into the midweek here. 9 on Tuesday. We warm up back to double digits on Wednesday with that high of 10, and then 12 degrees there on Thursday. Averages are usually around 8 degrees as our daytime high, and -4 is usually the average for our daytime lows. We're kind of around the ballpark with our daytime highs and our daytime lows.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.